Si le gustaría escuchar un episodio en español, por favor escuche el siguiente episodio.
Good morning. My name is Amy Cobb, and I am part of the team of La Incubadora podcast. La Incubadora podcast is part of the Economic Growth Business Incubator, a local nonprofit with a mission to provide training, coaching, and support to aspiring existing business owners who face barriers to growing a successful business. La Incubadora podcast is born out of the need to put in a video and audio a lot of the success stories that we see at the business incubator. We also want to answer frequently asked questions and connect small business owners with the resources to succeed in business on your own time and wherever you are while you have access to a mobile device. This episode is produced with the support of Raycast Media. EGBI sends a big thank you to Raycast Media for their partnership with La Incubadora podcast. Today, we dive into the intricacies of Travis County taxes and asset inventory requirements for small business owners, featuring insights from experts at the Travis County Appraisal District. From understanding what constitutes personal property to navigating rendition forms and filing deadlines, we explore essential questions relevant to entrepreneurs. Discover exemptions, obligations regarding property value, discrepancies, and the implications of business changes. The goal of this episode is to equip you with the valuable knowledge to effectively manage your tax responsibilities and asset inventory in Travis County. The Travis County Appraisal District Business Personal Property Department is responsible for maintaining all personal property accounts, including reviewing renditions on personal property and removing accounts for entities that are no longer in business as of January 1st of each year. For today's episode, we have two guests from TCAD. Our first guest is Nancy Vietrich, who serves as director of the BPP department. She has more than 15 years of experience working on personal property issues with the district. We also have invited Samantha Leha, who currently serves as a senior personal property appraiser and has been with TCAD's BPP department for more than 2 years.
Hi, Amy.
Hi.
Amy.
Hi. Thank you for joining us today, Nancy and Samantha.
We appreciate it. Thank you for allowing us to be here.
Yeah. Nancy, please tell us a little bit more about Travis Central Appraisal District and what you all do.
Yes, ma'am. The mission of the Travis Central Appraisal District, given the accordance of the Texas Constitution and the laws of the state, is to provide accurate appraisal of all property in Travis County at 100% market value that is equally and uniformly that's in a professional, ethical, and economical and courteous manner, working to ensure that each taxpayer only pays their fair share of the property tax burden. To keep our current data and correct, business personal property appraisers will conduct an annual canvass for each personal property accounts in Travis County. Additionally, visit each address to encourage compliance in reporting by taxpayers and to discover personal property. Typically, if you own a business, you're required to report personal property that is used in your business to the appraisal district. The appraisal district uses the information to estimate the market value of your business property for annual property tax purposes. Texas requires businesses to pay property taxes to each taxing unit based on the market value of the inventory and assets it owns or uses in the production of income. This year, we are estimating 35,000 renditions that will be mailed out to Travis Central Appraisal District business owners, Travis County business owners within the next week. That is due April 15th. So we have a lot of renditions that we are going to be provided back, and all of our appraisers are going to process through.
Wow. So all that's done within the month of January to be mailed out. Do y'all have deadlines?
Yes.
Wow.
We do have deadlines, and I think Sam will touch up a little bit on later on regarding the deadlines and certain exemption and allocation forms that are also required.
Perfect. That's a perfect segue. Thank you, Nancy. Samantha, what counts as personal property and why do I have to fill out a rendition form?
Right. So what counts as personal property is all assets used in the production of income. So that's going to include your furniture and fixtures such as desks, chairs, and tables, machinery and equipment such as restaurant equipment or like your heavier machinery like forklifts, office machines like computers, scanners, and phones. We also have computers, vehicles, boats, aircrafts, merchandise held for sale or rental, raw materials, finished goods, works in process, and supplies owned by a business. Businesses aren't required to render intangible personal property, so you're looking at your cash, accounts receivable, goodwill, and a computer application software such as your Microsoft Office suites and Adobe. The rendition forms have to be filled out annually by April 15th or by extension May 15th. That extension is automatically granted so long as it's been requested before April 15th. We have a form on our website that can be mailed in, but we can also receive emails for those extensions as well.
Okay. And so with my next question, so we can find the form online, is that correct?
Yes.
And then you said we can mail it or email
Correct.
it? Okay. And all that is on the website.
Yes, so the extension form at the bottom has an address to mail to as well as our email address. Our email address is bpp@tcadcentral.org, and our mailing address is 850 East Anderson Lane, Austin, Texas 78752.
Okay. And what if I sold my business last year, but I still received a property tax bill?
So if you sold your business last year, we do need to be notified directly. This can be done a couple different ways. So you can do it again via email to bpp@tcadcentral.org. And you can also mail in a not in business affidavit that can be requested directly from the CAD. Email is always better because we can print that out directly and send it via email, and it just needs to be returned. Once we do that, we'll go ahead and close out that account for the year.
Okay. And then are there any exemptions available that would exempt me from having to fill out a rendition or pay property taxes?
Yeah, so we have a couple different exemptions. We have what's called a religious or charitable exemption. So those are going to be your nonprofits and, of course, your churches. If those are granted, property owners don't have to fill out an annual rendition. Once it's granted, then it keeps that exemption for the life of the property. And we do have another exemption for a vehicle used in both in the production of income and personal use. You're looking at like your realtors. That makes the vehicle exempt from taxes, but all other assets are still required to be rendered, and they are still subject to taxes. That exemption is per vehicle, not per account. So if the vehicle is sold or replaced, a new exemption may need to be applied for. All other exemptions we have, such as Freeport, biomedical, those are still subject to property taxes in some form. So an annual application and rendition are still required.
Okay. And then a nonprofit or a church can't just assume if they have their like 501c3, you have to receive a form from TCAD. Is that correct?
They have to file an exemption. It's not an automatic just because they have a 501c3 through the state. It has to be at the county level as well.
Okay, great. That's great information. And if I informed the Secretary of State that I was going out of business, do I still need to inform? I think you did answer that. I still need to inform the appraisal district, right?
Yes. So unfortunately, we don't have a system to communicate with Secretary of State to let us know when a business is going out. So it's always best to let the CAD know directly.
Okay. And then my notice of appraised value was higher than the amount I rendered. Why is that? And can TCAD help me complete my rendition form?
Okay, so a property owner is required to file a rendition per the Texas Property Tax Code annually. However, we at the district aren't required to accept it. That's typically because we're seeing assets that are missing. So we're looking at, say, a rental car place, and we want to see those cars along with the assets. So we do have alternate methods of valuation. Now that notice serves as your, hey, if you notice something's not right, there are instructions to file a protest on it. And we don't typically help complete rendition forms just to make sure that you know the most about your business. So if we try to help you, we may not have the most accurate information about what you're reporting. We can answer general questions. So what can go in what section, or if you're confused on some verbiage, we can answer general questions about that rendition.
Okay. But you guys are counting on the business owner to complete it thoroughly and with all accuracy as well.
Correct.
Okay. And do I have to file a rendition if my business is tied to commercial property valued on the income approach?
So no, per section 2201M of the Texas Property Tax Code, a rendition is not required for personal property that's tied to a commercial property valued on the income approach.
Okay. And can you tell me more about what exactly that means? Like, so we're in a commercial property. What would that be considered? Like, what's an example?
So a hotel or an apartment.
Okay. That makes sense. And then I disagree with my with my property value. Can TCAT adjust my value without me having to protest?
No. So once the market value has been set and a notice of appraised value has been mailed, the only way TCAD can review accounts to make changes or potential changes is with an active protest on file for the year that the value is in question.
Okay. And that market value has been set with the form that Nancy at the beginning told us when
So
those forms are sent out?
So we use the rendition when we're valuing accounts. So we don't necessarily take it at face value all the time. We could notice discrepancies, maybe even the property owner made an error, and we can try to remedy those using historical costs. So it's valued just based on either A, the rendition, or B, alternate methods of valuation.
Okay. And then just to go back through, the deadline to file was in April, correct?
Yes, so it's April 15th. April 15th falls on a weekend, then it's due the next immediate business day, or by extension, May 15th, with the same rules. If May 15th is on a weekday, then it's due the immediate business day following, and that extension request has to be in by April 15th.
Okay, great. And then Nancy, how can we find more information?
Well, I think the first thing you need to do is visit our website at www.traviscad.org. There we have frequently asked questions. You can speak to a taxpayer, not taxpayer, but one of our customer service representatives by phone, as well as through the agent and or taxpayer portal. Also, I do want to say that at the end of February 28th, the BPP department will be hosting an informational webinar at 12 p.m. to provide further detail in regard to business personal property. If you go to our website, you may sign up on our webpage. Again, that's www.traviscad.org, and ask general questions. But then again, we look forward to seeing everyone at the next webinar. And that is typically going to go over the rendition process as well.
And then how long will that webinar be? Like an hour or?
It's going to be about an hour long.
Okay. That's great information. And then is there anything else in closing that we haven't discussed?
Not necessarily. I think we've gotten everything. Just main importance, we're going to be mailing out those renditions. The renditions are due April 15th. Go ahead and file your rendition with the appraisal district by mailing it in, email, or hand delivering it. Or you can use our public portal to go ahead and get that information to us.
Great.
To file rendition.
Yeah. And the public portal is at the same website address?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Sounds great. Well, friends, that's all for today. It has been a pleasure chatting with Nancy and Samantha today, and we hope you find this episode useful to you. If you know someone who could benefit from listening to this episode, please share the link to this episode with them. And remember that La Incubadora podcast is part of the Economic Growth Business Incubator, a business incubator in Central Texas that offers training, coaching, and support to small business owners with barriers to achieving success. If you would like to learn more about the Economic Growth Business Incubator services, please visit egbi.org and see you soon.
Thank you so much,
Thanks,
Amy.
Amy.
We really appreciate
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.